right, everybody, welcome to BO Boys for Monday, January 23rd. F it. It's a raw feed. We're doing it live. I'm Clayton.
Yeah, I'm Pat. Clayton, I like that you caught yourself there because we're on YouTube now and we want to follow all the regulations they got going on. And also, let's just start off by saying smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. We're pointing down.
I'm
That's
trying,
what
but
we
my
do.
hands aren't appearing. There we go.
There you go. So smash those buttons. And for those of you who are listening to us on the podcast, we're the same BO Boys as ever, even though we are now also on YouTube. It's just more places to find us, to enjoy us. But we're still here talking box office. And Clayton, there was a movie that we said was going to go missing this weekend, but it's box office. Somebody found it. Somebody found that box office. So why don't you?
We'll tell you exactly who found it, too, and it is very good.
Yeah. So why don't you give us a little plow for the box office weekend of Friday, January 20th, 2023.
Number one, for the sixth weekend in a row, Avatar: The Way of Water made $20.1 million, down only 39%. It actually lost 255 theaters, but is standing at $598.4 million. Number two, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish made $11.8 million, down only 18%. It lost 76 theaters. It's at 126.7 in its fifth weekend. Number three, Megan made $9.7 million, down 47%. It added 23 theaters. It's at $73.1 million in its third weekend. And number four, a newbie, was not missing in the top five, $9.1 million in its first weekend. And number five, rounding it out, A Little Man Called Otto, $8.8 million, down 31%. It is at $35.1 million in its fourth weekend. That is your top five, Pat.
All right. So I think let's start it with the newbie. The newbie that we thought we were never going to find. But you know what? It was out there beating its chest. This new movie, Missing, it was not missing. It made some money, and we all should have seen this coming, I guess. I mean, listen, I'll own up to it. And I've had a great streak of predictions these last couple of weeks, but I'll own up to it. I thought Missing was going to be sub 2 million. I was like,
yes.
the promotion wasn't here compared to Searching. The star, there was not a John Cho in this movie as there was in its spiritual original Searching. And we both thought that in this era, after lockdowns and that kind of thing for a year or two, that people would have no interest in seeing a movie that took place mostly on smaller screens. But they did. And Missing, I'm sorry, Searching, or no, this is Missing.
Yeah.
I wish they had just called it Searching too, but fine. They called it Missing.
Yeah.
Or Still Searching. Obviously,
But Still Searching would have been, it had to have the same characters. So I stopped myself searching again.
Right. But they called it Missing. And this movie did really well.
It should have been, it should have been Searching 2, TOO.
Yeah.
Like, Look Who's Talking 2.
Right.
That's what it should be. That's right. We nailed it. Sorry to speak over you, but we nailed it.
Searching 2, yeah. I mean, I guess
this person is also searching.
I guess then the third one, is there another word alongside Searching, Missing that then would make sense as the next one? Or do they call the next one Missing 2, TOOO? Or is the next one Searching and Missing?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it depends on what this brain trust wants to do, and certainly they're going to get another chance at it.
That's the big news, yeah.
Not only did this movie do well, it did better than Searching did in its second weekend expansion.
Yes, it did better than what was Searching's real opening weekend.
Yeah.
It had a 9 theater opening weekend that doesn't really count, but Searching's true opening weekend, where it opens 1,200 theaters, it is $6 million. and Missing just did $9 million. I mean,
So this
this
movie,
franchise is bigger
I
than ever.
I do feel like now what we had didn't take into account is that this is not people aren't it's not exclusively about the pandemic that people are online and on phones and on screens. It is the new normal.
Mm-hmm.
So all this is doing is reflecting life as it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And for us who are oldsters, and we'll admit it, we're oldsters. We do use screens all the time. Listen, we're zooming right now. We're YouTubers for Christ's sake, right?
Yes.
We're
Which
officially
means we're young.
YouTubers.
Which means we're young.
I mean, listen, I'm old and it's fine.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
I'm young.
Okay, fine. You can be young, and you are younger than me.
Yes.
In fact, you're a different generation because I'm Gen X and you are, of course, a millennial.
Also Gen X. Yes.
Now, actually, you're the most hated of all, millennial. But anyway, here we go.
I'm younger.
What I'm
than
saying
Gen X,
here
yes.
is that this is the new normal for most younger people. The major group that went out to see this,
Mhm.
which was women,
Mhm.
25 to 44, was the biggest chunk, right? But here's also what is really promising for this franchise and for this film.
Mhm.
Diversity demos. Here we go. 30% Caucasian, 26% Hispanic and Latino, 24% Black, and 20% Asian/other. Okay? That is great. That is spread so evenly that this really begs the question as to how can Hollywood get these demographics for more of their films, right? More of their higher budget films, because that's like a really good spread.
It's a great spread. I mean, you love to see all of these other groups over indexing, you know, Hispanic, Latino, Black over indexing, Asian over indexing. It's great. I mean, you know, we sort of knocked the cast here in the sense that there was not a John Cho at the lead, but I think we got to give some credit to this cast in terms of bringing out this diverse audience of $9 million. Storm Reed as the lead. I think she acquits herself well, at least at the box office. I have not seen the film, so I don't know about the acting, but at the box office, she, I think, was a positive here. And Nia Long, who we were not discounting Nia Long as a star, as someone who's been around for 30 years, but she wasn't the lead of this movie, but I think she proved clearly to be a value add here. I think
absolutely.
These demos really show you that, listen, Nia Long has been around for 30 years. She is a welcome presence, and I think she now is clearly a value add, especially in a movie of, you know, of this size, a low budget thriller. You have Nia Long in there. That's a big deal. And the audiences came out.
And we got an email from one of B.O. Boy Christopher, not intern Christopher. This is Christopher C.
Okay.
And title of the email, Missing. And he says, I highly recommend Missing if you like searching. I think it's just as good, and I saw it last night. This was 3 days ago.
Okay. Also, just a note, that is wannabe intern Christopher.
It is?
It is, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, he didn't.
It is.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's embarrassing because and I don't know his last name. But
yeah, that is your intern. Yes.
Okay. Also, the main star of this movie, Storm Reed, is not huge in my age group, which we know he's a youngster because he is in college. Just giving you some boots on the ground reporting. So, Storm Reed, not a big star necessarily, but not a no name, obviously. And in the under 25, I would assume, group, this movie is resonating.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed something there about us being on our smaller screens all the time. And we thought of that as a negative. We thought of that as a, you know, listen, people are going out, they're going to, you know, experiences and concerts and shows and all that, but they're still taking their phones with them. You know, everyone gets to go to concerts the last year, but they're all holding their phones up and they're filming the band. and people are going to movie theaters, but they're tweeting away when they're at the theater. People just have their phones all the time. So I guess on some level, a movie like Missing is still comforting to audiences. They're not sick of their screens. They want to see their screens represented. And
Yeah.
luckily, all audiences want to see their screens represented.
Yes.
There's a diversity of audiences, as we saw, and there's a diversity of screens that need to be represented.
Yes.
And Missing, it represents these diverse screens.
So these movies, this is what Hollywood needs to learn from this,
Mm-hmm.
is that you can't just have Apple products. They can't just be iPhones,
Mm-hmm.
right? They
Yes.
have to be Google phones.
Yes.
They have to be not just Mac laptops, but Chromebooks. They have to be Pentium processors, whatever those like. What is that? Not Pentium. What is the brand that Dell? They got to be
Dell.
Dells.
Yeah.
They've got to be Lenovo's. Right?
Yes.
All the different types of screens you can
Yes.
have.
Yes.
These need to be represented, right?
Yes.
That
Yes.
is important because not everybody has an iPhone.
Right. And you want to represent all the different kind of apps that could be on these different kinds of screens.
Yes.
So, you can't do the movie that's just FaceTime. It has to be FaceTime and Instagram and TikTok and, selfies and all of those different types of screens. You get diverse screens, diverse apps, diverse audiences, and you get a low budget, successful opening weekend like you had with Missing. Diversity is key for a movie like this. They had a diverse cast and they had a diverse size of screens represented.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Good for you, Missing. And listen, reality did not line up with our expectations when it came to Missing this weekend. But you know what? It was a positive outcome. This is great.
Yes. Now, Missing compared to Searching, I mean, the bigger story is going to be in the legs, because I am looking at Searching's box office history. And back in August and September of 2018, this was a leggy movie. It opened to 6 million, but it legged out to over 4 times multipliers opening weekend. It got to 26 million. That drop for the second wide weekend was only 25%. And then its drop after that was 30%, 32%. So that was a movie that really made its bones in the following weekend. So it's still to be determined whether Missing will match Searching in its run.
And just a little note on Nia Long. Nia Long is on a show which I do not watch and you do not watch.
Okay.
But a lot of people watch, Euphoria.
Oh, wow.
She's got 9.5 million social media followers.
Wow.
And those aren't all from previous things. Though that's from Euphoria. Euphoria is a phenomenon among young people.
Right.
And so that is huge. And I wish, we don't watch a lot. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't really focus on TV here. But if I would have known that, I would have thought maybe a little bit differently about Nia Long being in this film.
Yes, that's huge. So she is maybe at her peak in terms of being popular with the young crowd. I mean, I guess not. I guess in the 90s she would have been her
when she was young, yeah.
Right. When she was in Friday and Love Jones and all the movies of the time. But right now she's maybe in a second wave of popularity with the young people.
Yeah.
On Euphoria. So yeah, that's huge. It's great to be, ask Sam Jackson. It's great to be a value add.
Absolutely.
That is the spot you want to be in, is being a value add. And, like you said, diverse audience here. According to Deadline, the social media awareness were very high, 8% over the usual level for a thriller. Anthony D'Alessandro says that fans were vigorously boosting this on TikTok. And the star of this movie, Storm Reed, has almost 3 million social media followers. So Good for her. That is modern day stardom. She's got a social media following, and she got them out to see this movie.
Now, can we talk about another
Mhm.
film that kids love?
Okay.
Number two, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish,
Yes.
okay, which is down 18%, only 18%
Hmm.
in its fifth weekend. It's at 126.7. And I think I read this in Anthony D'Alessandro's write up
Must
that
read.
that's only 5% less than Sing 2 made in the same amount of time. This thing is catching up to Sing 2.
I mean, are we willing to both say that is going to happen? This
Oh,
that.
it is gonna. Yeah, it'll pass over
Hmm.
Sing 2, I believe. I mean, the bad guys comparison is now way in the rear view. Like we're
Yes. Yes.
laughing talking about can this beat the bad guys, right? Which
Yes.
I, of course, said it would. The great Scott Mendelson was on the show a couple weeks ago. He had his fingers crossed that it would.
Now, to be fair, that was Scott Mendelson saying that after the initial opening weekend of Puss in Boots, which was an
Absolutely.
underperformer. That was early on when passing the bad guys would have been a success for Puss in Boots.
Yes. Now, one of the reasons, our normal intro, I usually say the F word. I was not just I was not censoring myself for YouTube because I won't do that. I'm not going to do that. Okay.
Okay.
But I'm censoring myself for the kids, for the rats, because
Mm,
they're loving this cheese. And
right.
this could be a historical run for this film.
Right.
And I want the kids to be able to listen in
Mm,
on this show and become box office fans from this movie, right? Like the opportunity for a kid to see the opening weekend of Puss in Boots and see it have legs and see these small drops. That's an excitement. That's
right.
something that kids will want to follow. So that's why I'm censoring myself because their parents will say, they say the F word within 5 seconds of that show. You don't
Right.
want to
Right.
let my kid listen to that, even though they're probably swearing or saying whatever they're saying,
Smoking.
saying
Yeah.
horrible things about their neighbors and things like that.
Right. Right.
But
Scratching
still,
themselves. Yeah.
everybody's a hypocrite, and I can't do anything about that. But what I can do is make sure that my language is appropriate for these children so they can follow the trajectory of this movie.
Yes. Yes. Because I mean, this is officially Puss in Boots Last Wish is on a Greatest Showman type box office run. That is happening. And you're right. We probably have just swarms of new listeners who are between the ages of 5 and 12. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
think we just have to be prepared, and I'm glad you were prepared in the opening. Be prepared that an audience of elementary school children are now listening to the BO Boys because they know Puss in Boots is on a Greatest Showman type run, and this is the show that's covering it. So you're right. While this run is happening, we will not say the F word. I think we need to do on the BO Boys while this Puss in Boots run is happening is avoid the 7 dirty words.
Mm-hmm.
So no mother effer, no sea sucker, none of those words that are on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we're not going to say any of those words because the kids are here to celebrate this. I mean, this was in its fifth weekend a drop of only 18%. So I'm going
Yeah.
to go to the videotape. I'm going to go to the numbers of The Greatest Showman, and The Greatest Showman in that Greatest Showman run in its fifth weekend dropped 15%. So 18%. But
Where was it at the same time? I mean, that movie ended up making
so that
174, right?
so that
Domestic.
movie was at after its fifth weekend was at $113 million. So now Puss in Boots has surpassed the run after 5 weekends of where Greatest Showman was after 5 weekends.
Okay.
And Greatest Showman did get all the way out to $174 million. I mean, I think it is safe to say Puss in Boots is going to far outgross The Greatest Showman.
Well, here's the thing. We don't know when this movie is going to hit streaming,
Yeah,
right?
that's the key.
And listen,
That's the key.
don't because it's
Don't
already,
do it.
if people want it at home, PVOD it.
Mm-hmm.
PVOD it. Spend the $30 to buy it or the $25 to rent it. This is Universal, right?
This is Universal, so there's always the cock problem here.
Yeah. So
Peacock, of course.
keep it off. Yeah. Okay. See,
Yeah,
kids, I can't. Keep it off Peacock.
yeah.
You got to keep it off Peacock because here's the thing.
Here, well, let's just real quick, for the kids that are listening. Peacock is a streaming service
Okay.
owned
Yeah.
by Universal Comcast. There's a streaming service. It is not a vulgarity when we say keep Puss off of the cock. We're saying keep Puss in Boots off of Peacock.
Yes.
That is
it's
what
just
we're.
because we don't have time. We've got so
Yes.
much to get to. So keep it off the cock is what we're going to say.
Yeah, it's industry slang, the type of thing that started in Variety. Of course, the BO boys use it. So when we say
Commonly used in industry slang.
yes, so don't put the puss on the cock. What we're saying here is you cannot drop Puss in Boots Last Wish on Peacock because it will completely affect this movie's ability to have a Greatest Showman type run.
And here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can keep it off there because Paramount did the same thing with Top Gun.
Yes.
And people still went to Paramount Plus in droves,
Yep.
right? A popular movie in theaters, it's just going to keep having interest, and then it's not going to be like when it gets onto Peacock, people are going to be like, oh, that's so this many months ago. It's like,
Right.
no, it was making money up until that point. They got to pick the perfect moment where they know, okay, it's going to make this amount of money. We're at this level. This is what we want its cum to be.
Yep.
And then you drop it, right?
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
want to be
You gotta wait. You gotta wait to drop the puss on the cock for months. And I know
it's hard to, though.
it's hard.
To.
It's hard. It's hard. But
it's hard.
The audience is not gonna think that puss is old and moldy because you don't drop it on the cock for 5 to 6 months.
It'll still be good.
It'll still be good puss when it's on the cock in May or June. All right.
Yeah.
All right. The audience will enjoy that puss if you wait till the summer to put it on the cock. Don't drop the puss on the cock now.
I mean, is that a cut the shit moment?
Clayton, cut the S.
Cut the S.
You'll bleep it.
I'll have to bleep it.
You'll
See,
have
I'm
to
doing
bleep
it for
it.
the kids. I'll have to bleep it.
Yeah,
Gosh,
you've got to bleep. We cannot have the S word on the show when we're trying to cut the S about not putting the puss on the cock early.
You know what? I gotta re-listen to that Carlin bit. You have all his albums, right? You're a big Carlin guy, right? You all his stuff. You got
all the
books,
records, all the records, all the
Brain
books, of course. Yeah, of course.
What is the pork chop book with Jesus? Did Jesus bring the pork chops?
That was the big question that needed to be asked. So
here's what I wanted to say.
Okay.
Austin, wannabe oh boy Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Again, great email, always sends great emails.
Mm-hmm.
He is full on the Greatest Showman train.
Okay.
That Puss in Boots is gonna be Greatest Showman type. And he's going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing it. F it, it's a raw feed. It will hit 200 mil. He's calling 200 mil. And this Austin, for the kids who are listening, okay? Austin knows his stuff.
Yes.
Okay? He was one of the guys who went high on Elvis because of that trailer being in front of Maverick. Mm-hmm. He called that out, something that a lot of professionals also said after the fact, but who said it first? Austin. Wannabe oh boy Austin. So this man knows his stuff.
Yep.
So listen, who am I to argue with Austin about this prediction? And listen, that would be amazing if this thing legged out to more than Greatest Showman. But it
Yes.
all comes down to the puss being on the cock.
Yeah. If the puss is on the cock, then we're not going to have a Greatest Showman situation.
They
It's
got to be
it's
smart. They got to be smart because the subscribers will come for that. They
yeah.
will come for that whenever it happens. Whenever
Yes,
it happens, they
exactly.
will come.
Exactly. You don't have to put the puss on the cock now to get the subscribers to come. The subscribers will still come in 6, 7 months. Let them come then when you put the puss on the cock after it's had its Greatest Showman level run. Also, here's the thing. We don't talk about TV, huh? But
Huh?
but the subscribers are already coming to the cock for Night Court. You know,
Night
Night
Court, the
Court.
biggest hit in what, 5 years?
Yeah. So Night Court has got these cock subscribers coming right now. You
Mm-hmm.
don't need to also put the puss on top of it. Honestly, it would be just too much. It would be
Yeah,
too much.
it'd be too
So
much.
so let's Universal, Comcast, let's have this Greatest Showman run. We've got a chance here. We got a chance here for a Greatest Showman level run for this movie to top Sing 2, for it to be historic. Just hashtag keep the puss off the cock.
Yeah, yeah.
All
Let's
right.
let's have that trending.
Let's have that trending, everyone,
I
for the
mean,
kids, you know.
for the kids. Now, Pat, we have an embarrassment of riches here
Okay.
to talk about because we have Megan holding strong, down only
Mm-hmm.
47%, which
Incredible.
I think I erroneously thought, last weekend that this was, that last weekend was the third weekend of Megan. It just because Megan has felt like a part of our family for so
Mm-hmm.
long.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the actual third weekend, and the drop of 47% would have been great in the second weekend. But it's just really doing such a good job of holding for a horror film.
Yes, incredible.
And so, I mean, great. There was a Megan parody on SNL this weekend. So
Mm-hmm.
Allison Williams showing up there, showing her sense of humor. Anybody who says that Allison Williams is not a draw for this film is in La La Land, because
Yes,
we
literally
went
and
and
figuratively,
yes,
for
because we
sure.
went and saw this movie because of the premise, because of the creative team behind it, but
Yes.
also because Allison Williams keeps herself special. And we
Yes.
were excited to see her back on the big screen in it. She's an Ethan Hawke esque character when it comes to these Blumhouse movies. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Ethan shows up in a Blumhouse movie and you're excited.
Yes, you
And
know that this is a higher tier Blumhouse if Ethan
yes.
Hawke is in it.
And
Yes.
if Allison, because listen, she don't have to do anything really.
Right.
And that's
Right.
great. We would love Life of Riley. We would love it.
Right.
And that's nothing against her. But she won't just do anything. And she's doing this. And you know what? Quality project. People love it.
Mm-hmm. So just a little comparison point, and this is amazing how neck and neck this is. I didn't even realize it would be this close. But after its third weekend, Megan is now at $73 million. After its third weekend, the fall 2022 horror hit Smile was at $71 million on its
Ooh.
way to getting to 105. So right now, Megan is slightly ahead, but it's
Mm-hmm.
basically neck and neck. And in its third weekend, Smile had only dropped 32%. As you said here, Megan just dropped 47% in its third weekend. So I'll throw this out here. In the end, will Megan out Smile? It's pretty close. Will Megan get to 105?
I mean, I think so. I think there's enough interest in this film. I think it's a better quality film than Smile, which does matter. Like, it's, I think, rewatchable more.
Possibly. I mean, the thing that I'll say Smile really had in its favor was that in the upcoming weekend, so the fourth weekend of Smile was the weekend of October 21st. The fifth weekend of Smile was Halloween weekend, October 28th. So
Oh, so true.
Smile really got to really play through Shocktober, through the Halloween October spooky season. Whereas Megan, this is it's not Halloween season. There's only one
Yeah.
Halloween season for horror movies. So it'll actually be close, I think. I mean, I think Megan getting past the Black Phone, which was my memory serves me right, around 93 million. I think Megan definitely gets past that. I don't know if it's a slam dunk that Megan gets over 100 and gets past the 105 of Smile. I don't know.
Now,
Without that Halloween goosing there.
did Smile have PLFs? Smile had at least some PLFs, like Dolby, like higher price tickets. I don't think that Megan has had that benefit at all.
Right. I mean,
Because Avatar
Smile.
has eaten up all of those screens, as it should. I mean, that experience needs to be in those.
Well, if you think of it, Smile came out in October, and the two big movies then, quote unquote big, was Black Adam,
Mm-hmm.
right? Was early in the month, and
Quote
then
unquote, yeah,
Halloween
quote unquote
ends.
big.
And my guess was, based on the just awful, which I was touting for weeks and weeks, the awful performance right off the bat of Black Adam,
Okay,
that it probably
just for
was
the
it
kids, he's
probably was
lying.
dry.
He's
It was for weeks and weeks I said that
lying.
Black Adam was a box office disappointment. There's no one who could claim that that is factually incorrect. I said
I
weeks
wish
and
I could
weeks.
swear right now. I wish I
So
could swear right now.
for the kids, you can't. So I would guess that Black Adam shed a lot of PLFs that Smile was getting to use in that month, and Halloween Ends was a disaster. So Smile, you're right, probably did get more PLFs than what Megan has right now. So it did have higher price tickets. I don't know. I mean, I'll throw out a prediction. I don't think Megan gets quite there. I think it falls a little short of that 105. Gut feel and gut check. What do you think after 3 weeks? Do you think Megan gets past the Smile mark?
I mean, the thing is that there's not, I
That
don't think
cabin
it.
door is knocking
I
soon.
was just gonna say, if not for that cabin
Mm-hmm. And
and
that
that
knock.
knocking, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that knock,
Mm-hmm.
I think Megan could do it, but I think a lot of people are gonna be psyched to see another sort of thriller at that point. So yeah, I think it does fall short, but obviously Megan
Oh
cultural
my.
phenomenon,
Yep.
Megan 2.0 already greenlit, already going to
Yes.
be coming out. I mean, listen, this is a success by any measure.
Oh my
It's
God.
talking
Massive hit.
about yeah, talking about the cock,
Yeah.
you know, this thing's going to be all over the cock.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Keep me off the cock. That is,
Yeah.
and of course, me being short for Megan, cock
Yeah.
being short for peacock.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So, let's talk about Avatar.
let's talk about it.
$2 billion baby.
Mm-hmm.
$2 billion baby. One of what, 5, 6 films to ever do it? Let's look.
Well, you can look up the all-time worldwide grossing. I will just quickly throw out, because I have the list in front of me of all-time domestic. So right now, Avatar Way
Domestic.
of Water has now gotten up to 598 million domestic. At the moment that we're saying this, it's probably going to cross that $600 million mark any minute now. I mean, that's about to happen. But it is, in the all-time domestic earners, it is 13th place. It is 10 million behind Incredibles 2. So that'll happen this week. It is 22 million behind Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. And it is about 25 million behind the 10th place movie, The Avengers. So let's see. When do we think Avatar Way of Water is going to pass The Avengers? It made 20 million this past weekend. So it may take a little more than the next week
Yeah.
to get past The Avengers and to get into the top 10 all time. And then that's when it starts to get, no, not dicey, because I think the slam doinks remain. It is going to at least get into 9th place, passing Jurassic World, which is currently at 652. because that would be another 54, 55 million or so domestic, which you figure it takes Avatar 3 weeks or so to get past that number. And then it probably gets past Titanic. And then maybe that is where it nestles. It may nestle eighth all time domestic.
That has been my call, that it will nestle snugly next to another Jim Cameron spectacle. And I'm looking here, one of only 6 films to ever make over $2 billion at the
Okay.
worldwide box office.
Mm-hmm.
Avatar: The Way of Water, currently at number 6 all time,
Wow.
breathing down the neck of Avengers: Infinity War. With Avengers: Infinity War made $2.048 billion, whatever it is,
Okay.
and it only needs what, 25 million more to beat Infinity War, so it's gonna
Yes.
do that.
It's going to do that worldwide for sure. Slam
It's gonna
doink.
beat Force Awakens,
Yep. It only
and
needs
it's
43 million
million
worldwide to get
dollars.
into fourth place. Yep. Slam doink.
And it's gonna nestle next to Titanic with 2.2 billion, which is also what I said it's gonna. And I said this, and listen, Christopher Cook,
Mm-hmm.
um, look up that tape, because I said it's gonna nestle both domestically and worldwide next to Titanic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It's looking that way. It's very. I mean, it's sweet. You know, this is the ending of Titanic that we never got. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Jack and Rose were separated at the end of Titanic, but now we're gonna get this beautiful ending of Titanic and Avatar 2: The Way of Water being smushed together on that raft.
Yeah.
You know, on both of these all-time domestic and worldwide lists. Listen, he we'll say it again. He did it again.
He did
It
it
happened again.
again.
It happened again.
Pe-
Avatar: Way of Water, just an all-time phenomenon. It happened again. Here's the question I want to pose to you that I teased back in
oh,
the
but
hallway before we started recording.
by the water cooler.
When do we, well, I guess it's 2 questions. When do we clap for Way of Water? I think we still have to wait because this run is still going.
Yeah.
And when do we divvy up the billions
Wow. I
for Avatar: Way
mean,
of Water? We haven't done a good divvying in a while, and I feel like there's a few movies now that have earned divvying.
that's just such a huge chunk of pie to slice into. It's just so
We've never divvied
asking for it.
we've never divvied more than $1 billion. You know, the most we've ever divvied has been the $1 billion
Joker,
for Joker,
$1 billion baby.
the $1 billion baby. But Avatar: Way of Water is a 2 billy baby.
Wow, I got to get my maths straight.
Yeah,
I got to really work on my maths before we can divvy this up. It's going to be difficult.
yeah. But I
Um,
think we're
I-
gonna have to do it. What is the number? Do we wait until it hits the, I don't
oh,
know, 2.1
end of the
billion?
end of the run. End
End
of the
of the
run.
run.
Of
End of the
course, end of the
run.
run. We got to make sure every single penny gets where it needs to go.
So then, because maybe I'm just hankering for a divvying.
I know you are.
Do we divvy, because the 2 other movies I feel like deserve a divvying are Megan and of course this Puss in Boots, The Last
Puss
Wish.
in Boots. I mean, we divvy that, and I think that's when when the puss drops on the cock is when we divvy that up.
All right, well then I hope we don't divvy that for until the spring.
It better
Because
not. They
yeah,
better not.
yeah.
Uh,
All right. So I think Avatar, we're going to keep following its rise up the domestic and worldwide all-time lists, but it's just an historic run.
Now, let's quickly, because
Mm-hmm.
we said this was going to be a half an hour,
Come
but
on,
it's. I mean, come on, right?
come on.
So let's talk a little bit about this man called Otto,
Mm-hmm.
and I just want to, it's doing well. Heartland hit,
Yep.
and I just want to draw attention to it because, and listen, I don't want to be negative on this podcast, and I don't like to draw attention to negativity, but the Razzie nominations came out. Right?
Oh
These,
no. No.
these. Okay, and all I'm gonna say is Tom Hanks, aka the man called Otto, dual nominee
Oh, come
for
on.
Elvis and Pinocchio. And listen, I just want to say to these bozos at the Razzies,
They're bozos. I
we're
second
over it.
that. Yeah.
It's done. It's not funny. It's not fun.
No.
We don't care about it anymore. The only reason I mention it is to show how out of touch Elvis was a spectacular hit.
Yeah.
Austin Butler's probably going to win an Oscar, right? You've
Yes.
got Tom Hanks with a Heartland hit. This guy's bigger than he's been in 15 years, and you're giving him Razzies. And you know why you're doing it? Is because he's big and because he's beloved, because you want attention.
Yeah.
They also gave Sylvester Stallone a nomination for Samaritan, which this man has written more scripts than these bozos have written shopping lists.
Yeah.
So they can go kick a can.
We had, listen, the things we would say right now about these Razzies and the people who run this organization, but we can't because we've got all these kids who are listening because of this Puss in Boots run. But if we were able to be our uncensored selves,
oh my goodness,
what the things we would say about all of you Razzie nominators, and we know you're listening, huh? All right, we know that you know this is playing in whatever it is, wherever it is that you find shelter, wherever it is, some sewer, the sewers that you I don't even want to say it. I can't say it because the things I would say, it would be horrible for our new kids audience to listen. But here's what I will say. I invite the head person of the Razzies. I invite him to this show so that right before we record, I get to tell him, actually, we're not going to let you be on the show. Actually, we're bumping you. After you've been waiting to be on the show for weeks and weeks. You've been preparing for it. You've been preparing. Oh, I'm going to promote the Razzies on the BO Boys. And then we bump you. So I invite you, president of the Razzies, to be on the BO Boys so that we could bump you.
And you know what? He'd do it.
He would do it.
He'd do it in a second.
He'd do it in a second. Because he probably was like, oh, it's a joke.
It's like what we do.
It's like what we do. Guess what? It won't be a joke.
No.
We will bump you.
We're not a joke.
We're not a joke.
I'm deadly serious.
We will bump you. So I invite you, come on the show so we could bump you.
We will bump you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Pat. Well, listen, we wanted to talk about some theater closings, but we're going long. So let's talk about these theater closings on our preview episode coming up this week.
Okay.
We got some emails from some people. We got an email from Wannabe Boy Chris. That's where my confusion came from. Chris H is my confusion.
Yes.
I knew we had another Wannabe Boy with Chris.
Yes.
So Chris H sent us an email. Austin gave us some juicy dish.
Yeah. We've got people commenting on our YouTube channel. I just want to quickly.
I was gonna say, you know what? Sorry, Chris. We'll get to your email next time, but we do need to at least mention this because there is some question as to whether these theaters are actually going to close.
Okay. So you have that info in front of you. Do we want to go over that right now? The possible the fact that some of these closures may not be actually closing, or do we want to talk about that?
Well, let's just because I feel like we should do some research into this.
Yes. So we'll hold that news until the next episode. Here's the one thing I do want to just get out there right now, because these theaters are closing and people are very upset about it. It is a tough time if you are, in the box office community, the movie community, like we all are. And I am glad that people are taking comfort in being part of this podcast, being together in these tough times. So I just want to read you quickly a couple of comments that we've gotten. So this one is from our YouTube channel. Someone commented here, and I quote, "Wanna be oh boy, Matt here. Really appreciate the respectful moment of silence for those Regals. I'm just a plain Billy out here in the stacks and can't make a whole lot of sense out of what either of you are talking about, but it means a lot to me that you're saying it regardless." So that was from Matt. Thank you. I am glad that our show and our box office community is able to bring you some comfort. Also got this following comment from a wannabe girl, longtime listener, who is this person. She is a healthcare researcher with a PhD, this wannabe girl, and this is what she says. Love that you're talking about the closing of Regal movie theaters like we talk about hospitals in the research business. Movie theater access is as, if not more, important than healthcare access. So that is from a wannabe girl who is in that industry. And listen,
I agree 100%.
We are not going to stop talking about these closures, and we are not going to stop providing a safe, welcoming community for all of us to be together and get through this together. We will get through these Regal closings together, and we will make sense of this.
And what I will say is, before our next episode drops, which is going to be probably Thursday or Friday, if you are near one of these theaters, these Regals that are supposedly going to close, call them.
Yes.
Talk to management and ask them what their plan is, because really quickly, because we're going to call ours.
Yes.
Austin did send us this from Facebook. And listen, I don't want to spread misinformation, and Austin is saying take this with a grain of salt. But there was a comment on the Facebook about a Regal in Buffalo, New York. And it says, despite the scuttlebutt in the news, I called Regal Elmwood directly and spoke with a manager. He said that although the parent company filed for bankruptcy and their initial bid to renegotiate their lease was rejected, they plan to stay open and continue to work out a deal. Same for Transit Regal, which is another Buffalo-based Regal. He said the article, this is the manager, said the article is misleading and that they plan on moving forward with business as usual. And he said spread the word. So here's the thing. We don't know who this person is on Facebook. This is all conjecture. But what we can do, the actionability, is call the manager at your Regal that is supposedly closing and talk to them and see what their plan is. Because, listen, we don't know anything right now, but we're figuring it out.
We're figuring it out together.
Even if these close, even if they stay open, we'll always have the BO boys. You'll always have this community. You'll always have our YouTube subscribers and commenters, our emailers, our Twitter users.
Yes.
Followers. Our followers, our wannabe boys, our wannabe girls, our wannabe people.
Yes. So now more than ever with these Regal closings, this is the time to smash that subscribe button on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Link down there. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe down there, smash that like button. Now more than ever, this is the time to rate 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Give the BO Boys 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a comment. But most important thing you could do in a time like this is rate the BO Boys 5 stars immediately. It will help make the podcast more available to other people who are in these similar situations, who are grieving, who are confused right now during these Regal closings. Give the BO Boys 5 stars. Tweet about us on your social media. Spread the word so that other people who are in pain right now from these Regal closings could become part of this community and could start their own personal healing process.
Yes.
Right? Because we are not the only ones who are dealing with the pain of these Regal closings. There
Mm-hmm.
are many, many box office community members who need to be brought in to this BO Boys community so that they could begin the healing with us. So
Mm-hmm.
very important. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, and spread the word on social media now more than
Yes.
ever.
Now more than ever. Pat, I think we did it.
Yeah, I think we did it.
I don't think there's anything left to say,
No.
except until next time.
We'll
We'll smell
smell you
you
at
at
the
the
box
box
office.
office. Nailed
Nailed
it.
it. Now more than ever.
Now more than ever, we nailed it.